Hi, YouTubers. It's been a while since I shared my traveler's notebook and how I'm using it. Actually, I finished a booklet, and I thought before I put it on the shelf, I'll show you. So this is a Foxy Fix in standard narrow. It's in the Wanderlust leather, which I really love, and the color is butterscotch, and just love this contrast stitching. And it's so funny that you have planner piece when you don't want any more. I have this one, I have a Giglio, and then another one from Peppermint Mint Doxy Designs that I love. So this is one of the dashboards from my shop, Tweety Pipe Collage, and I will link that below. So this booklet I started using in December. It takes me a while to get through booklets because I just don't have the time to journal or art journal every day. And I'm okay with that. I don't put a time limit or a time period on when I should use things, but I'm kind of happy to see a fully completed booklet, because in the past I've completed things. I've started things and then I don't finish. So I started out by writing my winter goals. I like to start my booklets like that because it just seems like there's fresh possibilities every time you start a new notebook. This particular notebook, I was using it to write out my weekly tasks and reflections. And I like to use the same booklet to do both, because I like the idea of when you look back on your reflections, what you were thinking of. It's kind of cool to see what was going on that week and what kind of tasks did you have. And what I do is I take these tasks, these weekly tasks, this is everything I wanted to get done in one week, and then I plug it into my daily planner pages, my ring bound planner. So that's pretty much my system. So I just put a little bit of washi tape, and this is washi tape banners. And this is, I like tip-ins. This is just clip art that I had that I was using for my dashboards, and I had an extra one. So I put a picture of my son meeting Santa Claus for the first time. This spread here, I actually decorated it using ephemera that I cut out of a Trader Joe's flyer. Trader Joe's has these great vintage illustrations, and I keep them all and then use them. They're fun and obviously inexpensive because you get them free. And then I like to hand letter a lot in my planners or my journals. I think it's easy, and it's good practice for me. So these were my weekly tasks, and then these are my random thoughts. There's no rhyme or reason for what I put in here. So this, I was talking about Christmas is 11 days away. I have to finish shopping, but my older son doesn't have anything specific on his wish list, which brings me down to this thought, which is ideas. And then I wrote, remember, less is more. Focus on presents, not presents. So, and then I was just writing out ideas for my kids for Christmas. I got some Happy Mail by my sweet friend Lisa. And so I stuck that in there. This is a perfect place to just put, make it eclectic by putting in, little pieces of racked Happy Mail, that sort of thing. This is different Christmas tags. And I wrote down what my kids' favorite presents were. Just a few holiday notes, and then some Christmas traditions. So then 2016 started, and I had a lot of fun with this. So I buy a lot of ephemera. You can buy them at scrapbooking stores, and I think I made this little hat for this guy, for this little bird. And then these are just hexagon punches. I punched it out myself. I use these. This is from Fiskars, but you can buy them at Michael's and Joann's. A lot of companies make them, but you can make your own ephemera with this and then use it to decorate your planners. So this stuff is super easy. And what I end up doing, sorry, I'm moving the tripod here. What I end up doing is while I'm watching TV, for instance, I just do a bunch of them, and then I have them at my disposal for when I'm ready to journal. So Okay, so that was the beginning of January. And again, this is a perfect place to use some of your larger stickers that you might buy, from scrapbooking stores. I buy them online. And then I tipped in a photo of my 3-year-old and I wrote quote of the day, "Mama, I'm done waking up." It's what my son said after he woke up from his nap. And on this day, I ended up using, so this is punched out ephemera that I made myself. This is with a Martha Stewart punch. It looks like a doily. And then this is actually from a punch that looks like this, but it's round. And then it's a scalloped round punch, circle punch. And then if you cut the scallop in half, you have half circles. And I like that idea of layering them. And it looks very just eclectic, and I love it. This was a cloud sticker that I had, so I decided to continue the cloud theme with some doodles. And then I stamped out a VW bug down here. It was a wooden stamp, and I just put it on pretty scrapbooking paper, cut around it, and then made a road and stuck a sticker on. So again, the weekly tasks on one side, reflections on the other. Then I did 20 facts about me. I think I posted this on Instagram actually, which is why I did random facts about me, and I used some pretty washi tape that my sweet friend Rita over in the UK had gifted me. And then I used, I had these stamps of dandelions. So I stamped it out on book page, cut it out, and put it in here. And I love this quote. "Some see a weed, I see a wish." So I hand lettered that. Then it snowed. I wrote some quotes that my kids were saying again. My 3-year-old said, "Mama, my socks are going somewhere." His socks were falling off. And then when he was looking at the snow, he said, "Mom, it's a little deep out there," which it was. This was that epic snowstorm at the end of January. And I think it dumped like at least 2 feet of snow, 2.5 maybe, I'm not sure. But a lot of times I will pick either a Project Life card as the starting off point for inspiration, or it could have been the washi tape or this, the sticker or the stamp. Like in this case, I think I had the washi tape and I really liked it. So I thought what would go well with that. I like to do these. This says, "I'm currently loving, eating, listening to, wanting." And then I wrote, "I'm grateful for." So it's kind of just an overview check on life. And it's fun to look back at it later and see what you were into and what you were thinking of. And these I made out of leftover scrapbook paper. So you don't really even need, if you don't have washi tape, cut out strips of paper. I use this book a lot to write down quotes that mean something to me or speaking to me. So I wrote, "Stillness is the flower of winter. All hope waits beneath a blanket of white." Of white. Okay. I was like, did I not finish that? So that was that. And then I started getting into art journaling and watercoloring a lot more. So you'll see this book takes a dramatic shift. This is starting in early February. So I just doodled these flowers and then colored them in. My weekly tasks on one side and then my reflections on the other. This is these pretty kind of vintagey stamps that I had. I used them along with other stamps that I had, and I watercolored the background kind of in a ombre effect. I love this quote. "Love has the kind of power criticism only wishes it had." And on this side, I wrote parenting is hard. I was writing about how my son was challenging me. And so I was just reminding myself that, you know what, instead of being critical, maybe you just really need to love, and it's a call for love, This is a good example of using my homemade ephemera. Here's the scallops again. And then this is from... this is the punch. I don't recall who makes it, but I believe I bought it at Michael's. So you punch out, any color that you want to. And then I have another punch. This one's by Martha Stewart. And so when you mix them together, you can see I doodled like as if it's flying in the air, and then I connected it with my word. My word of the year is savor. So for a time I was writing about what did you savor today. Like, what are you enjoying? The reason why I picked the word savor is I like the idea that you can't, when you're savoring something, you're not rushing through it. You're enjoying it. You're present. And this year, I really want to savor all that's good in my life. And so that's how I chose that word. So again, here's the hex punches. This, I used newspaper instead of washi tape. I just like that look, and I think I was on vacation at the time, so I think that's why I didn't have washi tape. I normally don't use chipboard or thicker stickers, but I actually liked it with this spread. You can see it's a little bit thicker. But what I did is I cut out some book page. I had a little bit, and I just glued it on here so it's at the bottom. And then I did my weekly tasks and reflections, just added some floral ephemera that I had in my stash. This week, I recall, this was the inspiration. It's just a little card that says, "You make me happy when skies are gray." So I decided to make my own clouds and raindrops similar to this one to match that. And then I happen to have this woman ephemera, and I made a wonky umbrella and watercolored that as well. Then this is one of my my friend Lisa of Lisa Hoffman on Etsy. She makes these beautiful watercolored stickers, and these are great for when you journal. I can show you a few of them here. So I just keep them in a drawer that I easily accessible, and so when I'm looking for an image, I have them handy, but you can use these in your planner too, but they're really fun to put in your journaling. So for this one, I used washi tape to make it look like a road, and then I happen to have this little Vespa, and I thought it went well with this woman. Another thing that I like doing is I like making words go from one side of the page to the other. So this is stamps, and then so I just wrote life right there. I do that a lot in this book. Other times, like, I didn't even decorate. I just had a picture of my my poor little son. He was throwing up, and he kept saying, "Mommy, I don't want to grow up. I don't want to grow up." And I would say, "Oh, honey, I don't want you to either." But I didn't realize he meant throw up. So I was just writing about that. And then another sweet planner friend, she sent me some happy mail. And so I wanted to remember that. She's Mitz. A lot of people know her because she has beautiful planners and she's very creative. So it was so sweet of her to send that to me. Sometimes I do things that I don't love, like this cat. I don't love it, but whatever. It's just one page. I wrote "Do less with more focus." This one is a bird. I watercolored a bird. You can tell these pages are not meant for wet media. This is a Moleskine. So when I do use like watercolor, then a lot of times I would glue the pages together, tape them together. So the other side wouldn't, there's definitely bleed through if you use certain stamp ink, but anyway, but I'm okay with how wrinkled the pages are. It's kind of fun when you look back at it later, but I drew a bird. And then this week I was drawing flowers, like wildflowers, and you can see I connected Thursday from the left to the right just for fun. And then I was getting into inks again. Different like ombre effects using, I believe I was using Distress Inks by Tim Holtz. My friends came over and I was experimenting. But so these are just stamped images of flowers. And I love using stamps in my books because to be honest, I like how they blend with the pages a little better than like stickers, for instance. Nothing wrong with stickers, but sometimes I don't like how they're raised versus stamps. They're just right on the page. So they just have a graphic-y quality that I like. And this week I was writing about gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. And I was writing every day what I was grateful for. I was participating in Rita Sidani's her Instagram challenge. It was like a gratitude challenge. So that was really fun. You can see here how I hand lettered Periscope, Facebook, Instagram. I was just talking about how it opened up my world and connected me with other artists and creative people who share their beautiful souls. They inspire me and allow me to share my story. Who knew you could love and care about so many people you've never actually met? I think if you're in the planner community, you can relate to that. It's amazing how social media connects so many of us. So this I actually did live on Periscope. If you're interested, my Periscope name is Tweety Pie Collage, and I just share not only business stuff. I mean, obviously I share my dashboards, but it's just a place for me to connect with creative people, other planners. So this is the circle punch. I was telling you about the scallop circle punch. I used that as the inside, and then I stamped out these leaves. Other than that, this is scrapbook paper, watercolor. You can see how I did the lettering again at the top. On this page, I had to use this as a start off point because on this side, my friend Lisa had sent me a beautiful stamp, but the Stays on ink went through. So I had to hide that, and I picked that, and I had to think, well, what would look good with that? And don't ask me why, but this funny laughing beaver was created based on that, and this bow tie is ephemera. And then I put a doily behind this card because I just love doilies. There's something about how they're just very girly, and I love them. I can't get enough of them. On this side, I use, once again, the hex punches, the punch outs, but I also watercolored around it and I continued the pattern. So that was kind of fun. And I wrote how I made a big decision. I'm not going to continue on with Project Life. I can't keep up. I don't love being constricted by the plastic pages. So I was writing about how I'm obsessed with making my own journals right now and adding photos and pamphlets and ephemera. And I wrote down some of my creative muses, people that I really enjoy following. And then I was writing down some of the art journaling workshops that I was interested in, how much they were. So sometimes I take notes. Other times, these books should be what we want them to be, which can be anything, anything goes. So this really bright spread, I made this when my friends were over for a crafty day. And so I used the distressings, and then, yes, you can, honey. Sorry, my 3-year-old is asking. So I wrote out your vibe attracts your tribe because I was talking about, I was talking about my local planner friends and how I'm so grateful just to have fellow creatives right in the area, because even though it's fun to connect on social media, it's really nice to have them close by, and you can try out things together, and you don't have to explain why you're into planners and journaling and going to the craft store 20 times. Everyone can relate. These are just some feather stickers that I have. This is not stickers, these are stamps. This is like a doily stamp that I have from Martha Stewart, and I just added this for effect. That's thin washi, and this guy is clip art from Etsy. So around this time, I started getting into drawing more realistic faces. By and large, I would say I usually doodle, make like cute things, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to stretch myself to do other things. So I did that, and then I used my gelatos to add color to the page. These are the gelatos. I love these things. They're kind of like wax pastels, but they react with water, so they look like paint. If you were to add, I can add this directly on the page, or I can put it on my finger and then smush it for a softer look. I tend to like doing that rather than adding it directly, but and they come in so many colors. I got like a pastel pack, and then I got a bunch of bright ones too. This is from the pastel pack, so they're definitely more muted, but the bright ones are really pretty too. So they have been super fun to experiment and play with. And on this side I wrote, when nothing is sure, everything is possible. And then I use like a honeycomb stamp to stamp around the edges. So then I talked about what's on my heart. This was just simple, added washi tape, hand lettered that. And then I wrote about just what's going on with my younger son, my older son, my health and wellness. Sometimes, journaling is about just getting it out there on paper and releasing it. So on this 2-page spread, I just wrote Love Big, Pack Light. I love Bob Goff. I follow him on Instagram, and he always has these great quotes and affirmations. And so, and I happen to have this wrapping paper, a little scrap that was left over. So I put it in here, did a few arrows, and then I just wrote, in the end, it is moments, not things, that will define our lives. I rarely regret what I didn't buy, but more what I didn't do or failed to love. So I just like that idea. Love big, pack light. And this is a Project Life card and a little bit of washi tape, stickers. So that's it. So that's how I finished one book, and I haven't started another yet. I feel like I'm taking a little break from that because I'm enjoying using my scrappy journaling and art journaling and using a vintage book. I thought I'd share what else is in here, though, for those who are interested. So this is, I can't really actually show you everything, but this is the thing that I put in every time I switch my booklets out. This stays the same. This has like calligraphy supplies in here. Whenever I'm watching something, and notes, I take notes. I kind of write down, oh, this was recommended to me, this speedball oblique pen and that kind of thing. This has shipping information for Etsy because I need to refer to it a lot. I also keep Traveler's Notebook resources. These are shops that I like, online shops for Traveler's Notebook stuff. These are some ideas for meals if I'm just meal planning and need to refer real quickly. Other than that, here's like a don't forget. Here's our household miscellaneous stuff: coffee filter, printer ink, photo printer. And this has phone numbers of like our pediatrician, bank, that kind of thing. I did it I don't know if you could see, but I put this beautiful like cloud card and wrote some stuff down, and then I wrote out the other numbers in clouds too. So, and then the same thing right here. This has a bunch of numbers. And here's a yearly planner. That's from 2015, so I need to take that out. And this was our card from a couple years ago. It's from 2 years ago, but I don't care. I love it. So over here, this has my goals. I'll be honest, I've neglected it, but I'll show you. So this, I like this quote: show me all the parts of you that you do not love so I know where to begin. And I did this at the beginning of the year to showcase, so I could work on certain goals this year. And I can show you what goals I picked. So my biggest one is sleep. I never get enough sleep. I'm constantly, I just end up coming alive at night after the kids go to bed. I like the stillness at night when I can do my own things, all my creative things. That's when I do it. So, but I realize that it's not good for my health to stay up so late. And no matter how late I stay up, I end up getting up fairly early because, the kids. My husband's an early riser, thank goodness. So he actually takes, he gets up early with them, but I end up waking up because I hear them and I obviously want to see them off to school. So I feel like if I can get my sleep goals in, like if I can address that and get more consistent, better sleep, then all of my other goals I think will be a lot easier. So what I do is usually I write down what my goal is, my ideal. What is my ideal? I wrote 11:30 to 6:30. And then my challenges, like what is my challenge? Like why am I not following through with sleep? So I wrote, I can't turn it off at a reasonable time. I have so many competing interests and not enough hours in the day. I have more free time at night. I look at sleep as a lack of Nancy time, not restoration and self-care. Then what is lack of sleep costing me? I thought it would be really good to write just why not sleeping enough is bad for me. And then some tidbits of like motivation. Okay, so these are my other goals: eat clean and exercise. I'm actually doing pretty good with that. I started running and that's been very helpful. honoring and cherishing my husband. Work-life balance. Clearly, I haven't done any work on that. That's always, I'm always striving for that. So I think those were the main ones. I try not to overwhelm myself. But now that, you know, the first quarter of the year is over, I feel like I should readdress this and start filling this booklet back, start filling in more of the pages. So I plan on doing that very soon. And when I do, I'm happy to share that with you all. So thanks a lot. I hope that gave you some ideas. Again, I wanted to share how easy it is to make ephemera for your planners. I think I might make a separate video on that because it's probably worthy of one. These are stamped out images of these retro housewives that I think are super cute and you can use in your planners and your journals. And what I do is I just keep everything in these little plastic bins. I think they're made for photos that they hold 4x6 cards, but I have a bunch of these and it makes looking for things later very easy. I wanted to show you a few other things while I have you on here. So as far as adhesive, my favorite I would say has to be the glue stick, the regular glue stick. I pretty much, whenever I'm adhering things to my journals, I use this. Or this is the other thing. If I'm going to tape together pages, like this is super strong. So, but it's really nice and easy. So I use this too. And then I also just use, I'll just move this a tad. I also use washi tape a lot just to adhere, you know, photos to my pages, that sort of thing. And my favorite pen that I use, this is a Uniball Signo. I don't use expensive pens because I use them or I use them. I like this in 0.5 or 0.7. And you can easily find this at, you know, Target and Staples. But I have a ton of these. As far as watercoloring, I have this cheapy set that I got at Joann's, and I use this aqua brush. It's great. It's super easy, and you can do this on the go. You don't need a, you know, separate bucket of water, cup of water, I should say. So, you know, it doesn't have to be super expensive. So that's about it. So I hope, again, if you have any questions, feel free to comment or leave a question, and I'm happy to answer them. Again, I hope this gives you some ideas, and thanks so much for watching.